Welcome back to the Manifestation and Money podcast. Today's episode is one of these conversations that will shift the way you think about what is actually possible for your life, even when things feel really hard. Today's guest, Nancy Benet, is sharing a story that is not just inspiring, it's real. We're talking about rebuilding. Rebuilding by using intention, mindset, and aligned action to completely transform a financial reality. We dive into manifestation in a grounded way with baby steps that actually change your external results. So settle in and welcome Nancy to the show. Welcome to the Manifestation and Money podcast, the show where we tackle the taboo topics of money and manifestation. I'm your host, Jenny Schultz, former 9-to-5 grinder who ditched the status quo and went all in on creating a life I love. Yes, I use manifestation. Yes, I took action. And yes, I created a 7-figure net worth before turning 40. Every week, I'll bring you inspiring stories with money mavens and manifestation masters. From learning how to make more, save more, and grow your wealth to unlocking the power of manifesting your dream life. I am so excited to play in this space with you. Let's jump into creating a life you love. Welcome to the Manifestation and Money podcast, Nancy.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here, Jenny.
I am pumped to chat with you, two girls chatting about manifestation and money. So I'd love for you to share with the listeners who you are and what your story is.
Ooh, that's a long one. I'll make it brief. My name is Nancy Benet. I am a CPA in Central Florida. It's been a long time to get here. I've wanted to be a CPA since I was a very small child, and there's a lot of stuff in between. But I woke up when I was 45 years old, and I had 4 children. I was divorced. I got $100 a week in child support. I had lost my job, and I had $650,000 in unsecured debt. It was a horrible place to be, but here we are. I've manifested my way out of that and into many very successful businesses and as plenty of money. I hope that that's helpful for your listeners because I think it's not exclusive to me or you. Anybody can learn to do this. It's just a matter of understanding how it works and practicing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you share that because so many of us are like, oh, I've got this thing I'm going through. Life has just hit me with this roadblock. But you sound like you had quite the roadblock to have that much debt and all of a sudden not having the income coming in. What kind of key things did you do to shift to manifesting more financial freedom in your life?
So at the beginning, I was so downtrodden. You've just lost all your confidence. And I had to really dig deep to find out who I was and where my strength was. And I think that's a benefit of being in a bad situation. Everybody's sad that they're in a bad situation, but if you can look at that situation in a positive light and go, what am I going to learn from this? How can I grow from this? What can I do to make myself a better person from this and get myself out of it? I think that's the better questions to ask yourself instead of why me and poor me and all of those things. I think we can really look at our situations. So I took a deep look inside and I said, you know what, Nancy, you ended up here from the decisions you have made in your life. You're going to have to start making new decisions, better decisions, ones that support your future self. So think about that every time you are faced with a decision and life comes out better. And on top of that, I really just refused to give up. I could have, I think, just went under the covers and said, I'm done. There's nothing else I can do. I'll file bankruptcy. I'll get a job at Walmart and I'll just figure it out that way and stay on welfare. Welfare was a big deal for me. I hated it. We were on Medicaid and food stamps, and I really despised being in that position. And so I just decided I was not quitting. I was not filing bankruptcy. I was going to make this work. And I did. And I think that's a great place to be because when you don't give yourself an out, when you say, I will do this, and you have clear, strong intention for something, you can work your way out of almost anything.
Mm-hmm. I think there's such power in what you said there of taking ownership because you were coming from a divorce. That's not a 100% your responsibility thing. That is a dual process that happened at some point there. But for you to take ownership and be like, I've made the decisions to create the life that I currently have. I want to now change the lifestyle moving forward from now. There's such power in that. And yeah, to not give yourself an out. Good for you.
You are so right about that. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing is taking responsibility for where they are. Because I could have blamed my mother for how I was raised. I could have blamed my husband. I could have blamed his bosses that fired, whatever. I could have blamed a lot of other people, but I didn't. I could have blamed my situation. Oh, I have 4 kids. Oh, poor me. I didn't know I was going to be in that situation when I had 4 children, but I didn't. I chose a different way. And I think that's powerful, as you said, to really just dig down and go, you know what? I did this. Let me get us out of this.
Yeah. And it took you to a completely different mental space. Instead of living in the victim, poor me, noticing all of the things that aren't going right, you took it to how can I change the situation moving forward? What are the
Absolutely.
new possibilities? So you go into a much more creative mindset to be able to then see opportunities. So how did you start rebuilding from that point?
Well, a lot of it was manifestation that I didn't even recognize at the time. But I think a lot of that manifestation came from my steadfast decision to make my situation work. By that time, I had started this accounting firm, CPA firm. It wasn't a CPA firm then. I did not have a CPA license at that time. I had relinquished my license. And so building something without licensing is harder, but I did it anyway. I just decided I was doing it. And one of the things, we needed computers. And it was so fascinating to me looking back on it, especially because we didn't have any. So I found myself in the scrapyard with my friend Daniel, who was a IT guy, and we were digging through the scrap bins trying to find other people's cast-offs of computer stuff.
Mhm.
It was horrible. It was really bad, but I was willing to do it anyway because I needed the computers and I was going to make it work. But the next week, I got a phone call, and that phone call was from a friend in Orlando. And she said, Nancy, get down here right now. This law firm, I'm at their location. They have sold and they are liquidating all of their office contents. I walked out of there with 15 new computers that had all been wiped clean and new installs of Windows with a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse for each one, plus a whole bunch of printers and shredders and all these things that you need for business. So
Mhm.
that was my first real experience of what manifestation can look like.
Mhm.
And so that set me on this path. And I didn't really recognize it at first, but it was one thing after another because I had made that clear intention. The universe or God or source showed up and really made it happen for me.
Yes, what a fun story. Because in manifestation, your call to take action towards what you want is a huge piece of the puzzle. So by you going and literally piecemealing computers together from somebody else's trash was your treasure at that point. You were trying to make something out of nothing. And by taking action in that creative way, because my goodness, that is creative. The universe is like, okay, you're putting in the work. Here's an opportunity for you to get you what you want. That is an easier path for you. You just have to show up at this place and claim what you want. It is fun to look back at the path because when you're in that moment, you're just doing the things, you're taking the action, but then to look back and see, then this opportunity showed up, and then this opportunity showed up, and then I said yes to this because you still have to say yes to the opportunities showing up, right?
Absolutely. But since then, I have been able to piece together a formula for manifestation. And it's just simple, 4 simple steps. And you touched on it earlier, and it's the state of being, your state of being. So the first one is intend what you want and be clear with your intention. The universe can't work with muddled intention. Oh, maybe I want this and maybe I want that. But what about this? Chasing butterflies. You can't do it that way. You have to be really, really clear. And so the clear intention is number one. The second thing is manage your state. What state of mind are you in? Because what's inside of you manifests itself on the outside of you. If your internal is very chaotic and it's lack minded and it's thinking of all the negative, that's what you're going to get in your life. But if you can turn that around and really start thinking on the positive, not magical thinking or, expecting something out of nothing, but more of expectation of the wonderful that you are then walking toward. And because the third step is baby steps. Keep taking little steps. It doesn't have to be giant leaps. You don't have to save the world in one single bound. Take a little baby step today, or two, or three, and then some more tomorrow. And then it gets easier and you kind of know where you're going and you start walking and walking and walking. And then the last step, it's only 4 steps, really attachment to outcome. Like I did that. I was like, I'm going to make this work, but I can't control it. So I'm just going to work every day. And I did. I just kept walking every day. And one day I looked up and I was like, oh, wow, look,
Mm.
look what happened.
I think number four is honestly the hardest for people
Yes.
to hold the image of what you want without holding on to the exact image of how what you want is going to play out. That's really hard not to have that control, I guess. To some degree, we all want that control.
I agree completely, but I also think, and I'm guilty every day of trying to hold on to that control. But I
Mhm.
think as we practice these things, we get way better at it. And it's just like anything else in life. When you really practice, you really put effort into the practice of it instead of just like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow.
Mhm.
If you, I intentionally practice this stuff every day and it gets easier and easier and easier. And it takes a long time, but it still gets easier.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm just in the place of manifesting bigger things now. It used to be I could go, hey, let's manifest rock star parking. Me and my kids, we would have such a good time when we went and ran errands. We would want rock star parking, and it'd be crazy with the parking, no parking places anywhere. And one, sure enough, would open up for us because we expected it.
Yeah.
We didn't know where it would be. We just expected it would be a great parking place.
Mhm. So do you play games like that then with yourself?
Yeah, all the time. I make it fun because you
Mhm.
have a choice in life. You can either mope around and be unhappy and not satisfied with wherever you are, or you can be grateful for your situation, whatever that is, even if it's just a hot shower every day and a roof over your head. You can be grateful and play with life. Don't be so serious. Just like
Mhm.
enjoy.
Yeah. And by teaching your kids stuff like that, have they embodied some of these principles in their own lives?
Yes, it's crazy to watch. I have the four. So two of them have already worked with me at the CPA firm. And the first one was accidental. He had a bad car accident and ended up unable to walk. And so he said, Mom, I want to get disability because somebody told me I can get $800 a month. And I was like, no, your brain works fine. Get down to the office. You can do lien letters for me. So he did. And he sat in the corner for a year moping. And then our receptionist left or something. And so he had to move to the front and start answering the phone. Like this brought him out of his shell because he had been really depressed and unhappy, brought him out of his shell. Then he got some more surgery because he had a bad car accident. He had had 15 surgeries. He now has had four more and he can walk perfectly. He rides his bike 100 miles a day and he's rock climbing right now. So anyway, really brought him out of that. But then he started saving his money and he started manifesting what he wanted. So he had worked here a couple of years, and one of my clients said, hey, Nancy, I need to sell my business. Can you help me? And no, we don't do that. But here, talk to my friend Terry, who's a business broker. So Terry comes back a couple of weeks later, and I was having lunch with him, and he says, Nancy, this is the best small business I've seen. He's got really good systems, and it's just blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the whole time thinking, oh, this would be great for Peter. And so, sure enough, my son bought that business, and he is self-employed. He it does really, really well. He's grown it exponentially. While he's been doing that, he's been a real estate investor because he practices this manifestation. It's not rocket science. It's not available just a select few. It's available to anybody. And
Mhm.
then his sibling followed him, and she has her own business and manifested her way out of debt. And the third one just came to work here.
Okay. So you're kind of creating this little brood of entrepreneurs under you.
Yeah. They've been involved and they've watched because you can't not see me, the single mom with no money on food stamps and Medicaid, and move to this without somehow being impacted by that.
Hmm. So what is a tangible practice you could share with somebody, like to adopt something into their life that they could be doing daily to help them get towards what they want?
Well, I like this four-step manifestation formula. It
Hmm.
is intend what you want. Even if you just start small, start small. The rock star parking or making the traffic lights. If I get myself relaxed when I'm driving, I can make every single light green. And it's just magic. It's crazy. So start with the intent, then manage your state, which is your internal. And I do that with gratitude. Gratitude is the most powerful force because if you can look around and really be grateful for what you have instead of looking at your lack, which we're trained to do, look at the lack. If you can be grateful, then you can start being grateful for the things that you don't have and feeling that in your body. And that attracts that thing that you don't have to you. Take baby steps toward what you want is the third step. And the fourth is the hardest, release. Release attachment to outcome. Those are the things I practice every day with everything that I do in my life. At first, it's fits and starts because you don't really understand how to do it. But the more you practice, the more you gain understanding of it, the better you'll be at it. Don't give up.
Yeah. And I love the sharing you could take baby steps and at first with the baby steps, often, like you said, you don't notice the evidence of it right away.
Yeah.
But looking back or give it a little bit of time, all of a sudden that little hamster wheel is spinning and you're like, oh, I'm doing this thing. I'm on track to what I want. Things are showing up. And all I've been doing are these little micro actions all the time, but they make a difference.
They make a huge difference. And I think pushing too hard really repels whatever it is you want. And if you can just do it relaxed with these baby steps instead of the push, then it goes much better and resources show up.
Yeah, resources show up and then it's your job to say yes to them.
Yes, exactly. Right. But that comes with a good attitude too, and confidence that you can do whatever it is you put your mind to. And the more you do, the more confidence you have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful ripple effect.
Yeah, it really is.
So what would be your biggest piece of advice for somebody just to go out and create a life they love?
Really sit still and quiet. And what is your internal voice telling you that is right for you? Because we are bombarded with messages from media, from our family members, from friends, from the society at large about what you should want, what you could want, what you might do, what you have to do. None of that really matters. You need to kind of figure out you first. And I was not able to do that until I was in my mid 40s. And I think it's valuable to sit down and really figure that out. I think when we're younger, we let the trends and what everybody else expects, those expectations, push us along into whatever it is other people want for us. But if we can get past that and finally, wake up and go, hey, that's not what I want. What is it that I want? Because that takes some digging to find out. If you can know that, that sets you up for success.
That's one of my favorite questions, the what do I want? And I think that constant check-in of that is really good because you're going to hit seasons of your life where you're previously married or you're in the stage where your kids are really young, then they're grown. So the what do I want piece of that can evolve. It can change.
It does change over time, for sure. And as you expand your awareness, your perspective, and your thought process of what's tangible, what's real, what's possible, it surely changes.
Yeah.
Because back when I was the welfare mom, $10 was a lot of money. And I felt like, it was very difficult to get. My perspective on that has changed dramatically. And it's changed my perspective of what's possible and what I want in my life.
Right. Well, you are certainly fun to chat with. I can just feel your energy exuding through. Can you share with the listeners how you help people and where they can reach out and connect with you?
Yes, you can reach me at successyourway.com or on Facebook, Instagram. We're there. Follow along. We're doing a 365-day program called the Everyday CEO, where we're adding business tips for newer entrepreneurs. That's lots of fun. We have courses available, but just follow us on social media and see what you like.
Okay, excellent. I will be sure to tag that all in the show notes. And thank you so much for joining me and having this conversation today.
Thank you for inviting me, Jenny. What fun. And I love your podcast. It's so fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me on the Manifestation and Money podcast. If you're ready to take your manifesting to the next level, come join me inside the Manifestation Playground. It's an intentional space I've created to explore, experiment, and expand your manifestation potential. It's where the magic happens. So head on over to www.manifestationplayground.ca to find out more. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep taking aligned action. Cheers to creating a life you love.